Welcome back to Nsn Daily. Anybody knows me, know I love to get out on the water. Been fishing since I was, whatever, using one of those little Snoopy poles. Chris, how much do you actually get out, Chris? I know we've talked about this a little bit on the show, but it's tough to find the time being a dad, I would imagine.
How much do I fish?
Yeah.
Not that often. No, I mean, I've done a couple of times maybe over the last decade. I would like to go more. My daughter likes to go, and my dad, her grandpa takes her down there in Aspen Park area in Gardnerville. But yeah, it's one of the nice things about living in Northern Nevada. But I haven't fished too much over the last few years.
Zach Campbell with the Nevada Department of Wildlife joining us here on Nsn Daily. Zach, welcome to the show. What have you guys been up to? I mean, considering the pandemic's going on, I mean, fishing is a great way to social distance.
Definitely, and thanks again, guys, for having me on here. It's a pleasure. First of all, you got to use your kids as an excuse to get out fishing. When they're younger, it's a little bit tougher. But I've got a 5-year-old little boy, and if he wants to go fishing, I want to go fishing as well. So me and him work it out, and then we both get some free time to go hit the water. Take advantage of that one, sure. We've been up to a ton. We've had to switch most of our educational programs to webinars, and we've done a really good job with that. And we record them, and we post a schedule of when those are going to occur on our Facebook, on the NDOW Facebook page. So we have, and then you can also go on our YouTube page and look up all the recorded webinars that we've already done. And that ranges everything from backyard birding all the way to fishing and different ways to set up your fishing tackles to get out on the water and catch some fish.
What are you guys doing out at the Sparks Marina? That's obviously one of the nicer places to fish here in town without having to make too far of a drive.
Yeah, and it's a big body of water, so that does touch on your social distancing point, right? So yesterday, we stocked 3,000 rainbow trout on the Sparks Marina. And that's the first time we've stocked any of our community ponds and streams this year. And that every year that gets us really excited because that kind of kicks off our stocking season. So usually we'll stock a bunch of rainbow trout and brown trout, but we like to stock fish that are between 9 and 10 inches. And that's a good size for people to catch, and it also gives them a better chance of surviving long enough to be caught. This year, our brown trout weren't quite big enough yet, so we just stocked the 3,000 rainbows, and then in a couple weeks, we'll come back with a bunch of brown trout.
Zach Campbell with the Nevada Department of Wildlife joining us here on Nsn Daily. Talking about stocking our local fisheries and ponds, I mean, you guys are going to stock about 88,000 trout, as the numbers I was giving, to 20 community ponds here in Northern Nevada. My question is, I grew up in Northern California, but I've been up here for 25 years. And I remember going to that fish hatchery at Lake Natomas in Northern California and checking that out. Where do these fish come from up here?
Yeah, so we have a hatchery down in Lake Mead that handles the southern region stuff. It's kind of out of commission right now. There's some maintenance on it, but the fish that went to the marina yesterday, they came from Mason Valley Fish Hatchery, and that's out in Urington, outside of Urington. There's also a wildlife management area out there and more places to fish right there. We also have a hatchery up in Ruby Valley, Gallagher Fish Hatchery. So we've got hatcheries throughout the state, that kind of supply regionally, but both hatcheries now are even going down to southern region and stocking fish. The southern region also has a ton of community ponds that we stock, and what they do is we've already been stocking those through the winter. So because it's warmer down there, they stock trout down there. I think they stocked around 80,000 during the winter this year. But yeah, we get our fish from those hatcheries, and we've got 20 to, like you said, 20 urban ponds and creeks that we stock with those fish.
Where are some of the areas up here that you guys are going to stock in the coming weeks for people who want to get out there and maybe catch some of these?
So we do have a list of our community ponds on our website, but off the top of my head, we'll do the marina again, and we try to stock through that season, spring through fall, every 2 weeks if conditions permit. But Bailey's Pond outside in Carson, we've got Paradise Pond, your local lakes within town, Wilson's Common, Washoe Valley, some of those areas, but yeah, go on our website and check out some of the other locations. It's like a full-on blitz of fish that we just really want people to enjoy the outdoors, with their families, with their kids. And I was raised doing that, and that's something that's near and dear to my heart. And it's part of our mission, definitely, to get people out there. That's why we put the fish there in the first place, is for people to catch them.
Zach Campbell with the Department of Wildlife joining us here on NSN Daily. Zach, of course, you have to get a license, and you can do that easy online, ndowlicensing.com, just so you're following by the correct parameters. The thing I get asked a lot, and it comes through, it goes, deer tags, elk tags, all that, but with fishing licenses, some people go, where's my money going? It goes back right into conservation and right into what you guys are trying to do, right?
That goes with all licenses that are purchased with Nevada Department of Wildlife. That money goes back into conservation. So license sales fund conservation, and that's everything from habitat restoration to the trout that we produce at the hatcheries. You buy your fishing license, that money's going back into producing more trout for you next year. It pays the salaries of the biologists that manage these waterways to make sure that they're healthy. Like, we do all sorts of surveys on the population to make sure it's healthy and compare that from year to year, and all that stuff. It's funded by license sales.
We've had a pretty mild winter. I'm curious how that impacts, potential fisheries or places where you can go and catch fish. Does that have a big impact, just the fact that we didn't get a lot of snow this year, or should there still be a plentiful amount of fish out there beyond what you guys are obviously stocking?
Well, I'm still hoping for more, but so let's keep our fingers crossed. But drought definitely affects all wildlife. But our community ponds, they, in summertime, if water levels are lower, that can cause an issue. But places like the marina, it's got a pump that fresh water comes into it all the time, so that's not really an issue. And it can affect it. We always want more fish habitat, and fish habitat definitely comes from the sky. We need that extra water, especially for some of your reservoirs that, some of that water is used for other reasons besides just recreation. It's very important to have as much water as we can possibly get. So there is an effect for sure.
Zach, fishing in my family goes back generations, where it was great grandpa taught my grandpa, he taught my dad, and dad took me out, and that sort of thing. Are you still seeing that in our modern society? Is it still cool to take your daughter, your son, the kids, the family, and go fishing? I remember there was a Take Me Fishing campaign years ago, but how strong is it still?
Oh, it's still strong. It's still strong, and that's our job to promote it. That's our goal, is to keep those traditions going, and have people experience wildlife so they have a respect for wildlife, and then they become advocates to make sure that it's still around. We definitely do everything we can to pass that on to everybody. I'm in the conservation education division, and that's our job, is whether it's hunting or fishing. We have tons of free resources, free education classes. Pre-COVID, we would have a free class related to fishing weekly in all 3 regions. So we partner with Sparks Rotary usually to do the big free fishing day at the marina. We have a carp derby out at Lake Lahontan. Everything's free. We have fly tying classes. I think it's still a big part of life for a lot of people, and it's our job to make sure that everybody gets the opportunity to see how great it can be. So definitely.
Zach, one last thing before I let you go. I'd be remiss to not give you a chance to maybe talk about your experience after Sparks High School. You're a local guy. You played for Rob Cottrell at Sparks, went on and played in the JUCO ranks, and then got to play some college ball back in Arkansas. But how good is it for you to be back in Northern Nevada? And when you called me earlier this week, the phone number that came up is Chris Healy, the great Chris Healy, who had been with Department of Wildlife for so many years. How cool is it that you're back here in Northern Nevada and being able to, enjoy this?
Well, I left when I was 18. I'm 37 now, and I've had wonderful experiences everywhere I've been. But to be back home is definitely something special, and to be able to follow in the footsteps of someone like Chris Healy is great. And he's been available to help me at the beginning of the job to figure things out. But one thing I can say that is so wonderful about the state of Nevada is the public land. I was all in the outdoors in every state I've lived in, and then loved those experiences. But just Nevada, to be able to just go out there and either be with friends and family and have so much space available to recreate in the wilderness just cannot be beat. The public land, the freedom, and home's home. So it's great to be back. It's really great to be back.
Zach Campbell with the Nevada Department of Wildlife. ndowlicensing.com. If you want to get your fishing license, do it right, go there and support conservation and take the kids fishing. Why not? Get them on out there. Zach, appreciate the time, man. Hopefully talk soon.
Great, guys. Really appreciate being on. Talk to you soon.
We'll have much more coming up here on NSN Daily right after this.